Hello and welcome to the official Hunters of Hole YouTube channel, the YouTube channel specializing in my book, Hunters of Hole. We're going to talk about a very particular character in my book that I am writing, and his name is Markus, and he looks a little bit like this. Special thanks to Lettuce for doing the art on this one. You can check out her Twitch channel, actually, right there. So Markus is roughly about a 14-year-old boy, which is the equivalent in the story world of almost a cycle and a half, just a little bit less. A cycle is the equivalent of about 10 years in this book, and a cycle is based off their seasons. They get their 4 seasons across 10 years. 10 years. So Markus is 14. His tribe of origin is, of course, the Dahrks clan. We'll talk about them more in possibly this video if it's out. Check that out. And his status is a hunter. He is a highly esteemed hunter for his young age, which is quite impressive. So just a little on his stats. He's 5'7", he weighs 72 kilograms. Now, Markus himself, it might be a bit hard to tell from the picture because he's a little bit scrawny, but and it's only shoulder up. But he's actually, although he is roughly my height, which isn't that big, it's very average for a male, he is a bit tough. He's got a lot of shoulder, a lot of chest, his legs are nice and strong. He's actually really athletic. He does a tremendous amount of working out, as a hunter is expected to. His hair is very dark. It's almost black, like an ash kind of black. And it's long too. He sort of let it grow out to roughly about here. I used to have hair about that length, which was pretty cool. Got in your face, super annoying. It was super annoying. And he's also got amber eyes. Nice, beautiful amber eyes. In my book, eye color comes in all kinds of different colors, and your eyes can also change color as well. And Markus was born with amber eyes. We're going to talk about his weapons real quick. So Markus likes to use big old scythes. These are big hunting scythes. That tall off the ground. The point of this weapon is for large creatures. You stab it, you hold it down, and believe me, there is no shortage of large creatures in this world. Markus is an expert at using the Dahrk chain. Dahrk spelled D-A-H-R-K. Chains. These are just chains, like you would imagine. You've probably seen them holding together your fence at home somewhere and locked up with a padlock. You've probably seen those before. Big, long chains that are enchanted because they are made from a special kind of metal called Clayton steel. And Clayton steel was commonly the most enchanted thing of that time. They were the most magical weapons. But sadly, after the destruction of the Great Village, the Great Dark Village, many of the Clayton steel items were lost, and that includes the Dahrk chains. Markus still has a Dahrk chain, and the special power of the Dahrk chain is their ability to get longer. A little bit of magic spurs within them, and depending on the energy of the person using them, you can make the chain as long as the continent, or you can make it as short as this tiny little charger thing. It's entirely up to the user. He can also break the chain at will, but there will be no visible snap anywhere in the chain. It's like the metal moves freely through each other while the user determines it to be so. Now, Markus likes to wear this just right across the chest. He's got a nice little leather pad up the top so it doesn't, hurt him when he's moving around and whatever. And he just wraps it around his body, links it up around the middle, and that's how he carries it. And it sits there forever because he can break and link it as much as he wants. He can make it nice and tight, sit there. Anyway, he can pull it off and he can swing the thing around and whip you and whack you and wrap you up. And he can make it longer or shorter depending on what he needs. And most of all, Clayton steel, fantastically hard metal. You cannot break that. There is almost no way to break Clayton steel. It's beautiful material, a stunningly practical material for the use of these characters. Of course, he can combine the hunting scythe as well as the dark chains. He can use them in unison with each other to get the results he needs. He also has a very special power himself. Markus has what I have dubbed the danger sense. Now, Markus has a lot of friends. Markus loves a lot of people. He's a great, happy, loving bloke. He loves all his mates. He loves people he barely even knows. He is, just a genuine, nice guy. And part of why he's such a genuine, nice guy is that he was born with this power to sense when people are in serious danger, especially his friends. The stronger the bond between him and the person, the more something will flare up in the back of his head, like, my friend's in serious trouble right now. That will flare up big time in the back of his head, and he will know where to find them. He will go, they're this way, I'm gonna go this way. That is his power. He can sense when you are in trouble, when you are in serious trouble, your life is at risk. He will find you. He can find you, and he always goes to find you because he loves you, because he's a grouse bloke. Markus is not a highly intelligent person. He was never very book smart. He was never even very street smart. Of course, he's very, very talented fighter, very talented hunter, but in the brains department, he's quite lacking. But of course, he makes up for it in his own special ways. A grouse sense of humor. He's so happy. He smiles big, and it's really hard to upset him. You cannot make him angry. And most of all, he is terrible at making jokes. Cannot make a good joke for the life of him. God bless him, he tries though. Now I know what you're thinking. Jack, we don't want to hear about this character. We would rather you... We don't want to hear you tell us about this character. We want to see what this character is like now. I can only show you the picture, but what I can do is actually read you a Grouse Markus chapter. And here we go. Back at the valley, where the rest of the tribespeople were waiting for their leaders to return, there was minor cooperation between the Dahrks and the Furies. As Sue and Felix had instructed, they were moving supplies around in large sacks and wooden crates. The Dahrks had done so begrudgingly, but after Jovsky left with a small squad, things seemed to get progressively less tense. While he wasn't around to spread propaganda, the fights and arguments became fewer and fewer every day. It helped having Markus there as well to talk everyone down. On several occasions he would jump in between a Fury and a Dahrk, about to take shots at one another. "Wowee, you guys look really tough," he would say to them. "I'd hate to get caught in the middle of you two." The two looked at him rather confused. Both of them were mid-tier male hunters, the Fury with a white headband and a sturdy and wide pot-belly figure, and the Dahrk, masked and with his muscular upper body and wide shoulders. They were stood on either side of Markus, looking at him awkwardly. Between us, the Dahrk stuttered. "Oh," said Markus, feeling awkward. "I guess I already am." He scratched his chin. "I better get out of the way then," he laughed, beading sweat. Never mind," said the Fury, flustered and beginning away. Most encounters were similar to this. An overexposure to Markus made Furies less agitated towards Dahrks. In another instance, a fight had already broken out before Markus could step in. He grabbed the Fury and the Dahrk while they were throwing a punch with a pair of chains and ripped them off their feet, separating them. "Please no fighterino, friendos," said Markus, undoing the chains he had wrapped them in. "Cooperation is the secret to me not beating you up," he cheered. "Markus, you can't expect me to just stand for this." Said Markus, shaking a single raised finger. "Say it with me now. The secret to not getting beat up is to not fight," Markus chanted. "I'm leaving," said the Fury as he stormed off in frustration. It was the last major fight that happened. The occasional argument still broke out, but was quickly resolved by Markus again. It didn't matter where one's loyalties lie. Everyone either gave up, assuming the annoying simpleton would just get in the way. Even if they tried to go somewhere quiet, Markus would always find them. Eventually, they just got along because they had no other choice. It was working. Rather than complain about each other, they found common ground over their frustrations with Markus, but also how hard they found it to hate him because of his kind-hearted nature and good intentions. "I've had complaints," said Shaco, wandering up behind Markus while he was helping build a small shelter. Heavy rains were coming from the north, and snow was creeping from the south. The shelters were mostly large holes and trenches filled with rocks to hold its structure and any salvaged material used as roofing. "Oh, can I help?" asked Markus, spinning around and dropping his mallet. "They're about you," said Shaco. "Oh, can I help?" he repeated. "Well, I don't really know why these old dudes keep asking me for help. I'm not the chief. Basically, the Furies are getting uncomfortable with you, but they don't have the heart to tell you. Well, I wasn't supposed to say that last part and make it seem like they actually like you, but whatever, I suppose I messed up." "Did I mention I'm not the chief?" Shaco shrugged. "Oh, but they were fighting," said Markus. "Look, man, you ain't gotta explain anything to me. Frankly, I don't care. I'm just trying to make it seem like to them I care. What you're doing is probably for the better." Shaco scratched the back of his head. "So what you doing?" asked Shaco. "Building the shelter," said Markus. "Oh, can I help?" And how is that? Thank you very much for watching the video. And please check out my book, possibly even the Hunters of Hall Patreon, if you are interested in that kind of thing. Asking for money is not something I'm really doing. I don't really expect any money. This is a passion project for me. I've wanted to write this book for a long time, but you want to like toss a bit of cash to just keep me making these videos, keep me writing. There is a Patreon link in which you can go. There are also blurbs for this book as well as future books written on that Patreon. And there are rewards, but it's mostly stuff like I might use your name in the book because I'm always on the hunt for grouse-sounding names. So thank you very much. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.